I got to be careful with Caleb Williams. I don't want to say he's fragile at the moment, but the guy's had a lot going on. Rough rookie year. There were reports that, like, he was watching film by himself. Like, it was not a good introduction to the NFL. He took 68 sacks last year, which tracks with what happened to him at USC his final year. He's just trying to play backyard football, just run around and try to make a play. Like, that doesn't work in the NFL. It just doesn't. You need to be, Brock Purdy. Drop back, process, and fire away. Like, you got to do that. Now, you could say, Jay, Purdy had Shanahan. This guy had a clown car of coaches. Okay, fine. Enter Ben Johnson. Well, I mean, I'm going to be real with you guys. I know Ben Johnson was one of the most highly acclaimed offensive coordinators of the last 15 years. He's certainly up there in rarefied air. He was amazing in Detroit. We don't know what he's like as a head coach. And, I mean, listen, he's doing these radio interviews. He's going to the podium, and I don't see a lot of positivity. So here's Ben Johnson on 670 The Score in Chicago this week, talking about the development of Caleb Williams.
The standard has been set. The bar has been set high. He has said that he wants to be not just one of the best top 5 quarterbacks in this league, but he wants to have a legacy that lasts for a long time. And so we're coaching him that way. We're approaching it that way. That's not going to change. Is he going to be a finished product here year 2? No, he's going to continue to get better year in and year out, and it's a process. And so we're very clear on that. There is a little bit of grace here as we go through it. We know he's learning. He's going to take his bumps, but at the same time, as long as we're not making the same mistake twice, we're going to be right on track and we'll be just fine.
I don't know, guys. As long as we're not making the same mistake twice, that sounds like a message to Caleb. Like, dude, you keep making the same mistake over and over. And again, maybe I'm becoming body language guy or parsing words because we're now going on 9 months without football. That kind of thing happened. Not 9, but close to 9 months. And I want Caleb to succeed, but guys, look at like the last 6 years. Look at how many elite top 10 picks have just totally flopped. I mean, Trey Lance has been on how many teams? Zach Wilson. These guys were top 5 picks. Bryce Young is, I don't want to say borrowed time, but like if he doesn't deliver, he's going to be done. Baker Mayfield bounced around the league after a few years in Cleveland. Like, a lot of the top picks don't pan out. Maybe it's not going to be until stop 2. Then you add on this Seth Wickersham book. Seth Wickersham, close to Caleb Williams, did a book on quarterbacks. And none of that stuff sounds good at all. Caleb and his family clearly wanted nothing to do with Chicago. They don't know how to deal with quarterbacks there. They've never had a great quarterback. Who's the best quarterback in Chicago Bears recent history? Rex Grossman? You have to go back to Jim McMahon in the 80s? So, like, I mean, I get it. But you add all this stuff up, the pressure of Chicago. Listen, if he was in Jacksonville, nobody cares. There's no media there, no media crush descending. And now you've got a reporter, like an actual guy who covers the team, saying Caleb is in danger of being benched early in the season. That doesn't happen. Here's Steve Weiss last hour on our show talking about tough love, maybe, between Caleb and Ben Johnson.
I didn't see Bill Belichick ever very happy. I know Andy Reid's a nice guy, but he's not the most jovial dude up there. So, in terms of how guys appear at the press conference, I don't really know. Having been in these situations, it's like the meeting rooms and stuff. If a coach is like glazing you up or are beating you down in front of the team in the meeting rooms and really humiliating you in front of your peers, that's where things really tend to ruffle feathers. Now, some guys, get bent out of shape by what's said in the media. But and I don't know Ben Johnson. I've been around him, but he's just an intense guy. There are intense coaches. You've been around Sean McVay. That dude never relaxes. Now, he is kind of captain positive, but, there's just different coaches with different styles.
I think there's a quote, praise publicly, criticize privately, or something like that. Damn it, I wish I had memorized that. But I don't hear a lot of praise from Ben Johnson. He doesn't seem happy. And again, Jay, you're over-exaggerating. But to Steve's point about Belichick, I mean, we read stories for years about how in the film room with the quarterbacks, he would say, look at Tom, botch this throw. I can get the local quarterback from Foxborough High School to come out and make that throw. He would say that about Brady. Now, Brady ate it up and it drove him to be better, right? And thrive as a superstar. But remember, Giselle, the ex-wife, she was getting ticked off, and there's reports, hey, Bill's got to lay off Tom. I mean, that's public. So there's a lot of different ways. When I hear this relationship about Caleb and Ben, I think to my kids, and Rachel, obviously, you have kids, and we're both, dealing with the kids that are growing up, and
Teenagers.
it's tough. And I don't want to call Caleb Williams a kid, but he's a young guy.
Yeah. I mean, look, also, Ben Johnson, I have faith in him of how he's going to do as a head coach. I think there's just a lot of crossover with being an OC. But he is very precise. The reason we call him the mad scientist is because he concocts these very specific plays and very specific offensive sets. So the idea that someone like Caleb, who right now is much more improvisational, probably drives him crazy a little bit in a way that isn't necessarily Caleb Williams' fault, but is just a clash of styles that is probably adding to the fact that, as he himself pointed out, Caleb is far from a finished product. And I thought it was very interesting, I don't know what you thought, that he held Caleb Williams out of the first week preseason game. And it almost seemed like, from reading between the lines of what he said a nicer version of, it'd be more embarrassing for him to go out there and fail than to be benched, even though there was a lot of fervor around the fact that he wasn't playing, and a lot of people saying, oh, he must be terrible. Oh, clearly Ben Johnson thought that level of criticism was better than the level of criticism he would have got if he had actually gone on and played. So this is all kind of swirling together.
And we saw the one video of Caleb unable to throw it into a net from 5 feet away.
Yeah.
That goes viral. People are crushing the kid. Can you imagine if in week 1 of the preseason he vomits all over himself? And it's like, oh, but, and we talked about it this morning. If memory serves, Jared Goff started out horribly with the Rams. Now he had Jeff Fisher. Who was the other? Oh, Eli Manning with the Giants.
Had
Terrible. Go look at his stats in his first year.
Yeah.
He was booed off the field in New York. And they were like, oh, you've ruined Eli Manning. These guys are tough and mentally, they can bounce back.
Yeah, I mean, Williams has plenty of talent. There's a reason he went where he did in the draft, right? And so much in professional sports, it's about that matchup of fit, right? Are you with the right coach at the right time in your career? Are there the right players around you? Talked about Jaden Daniels getting those vets around him and why Washington thought that was so important. So with a guy like Caleb Williams, I think a big part of it is this fit right with Ben Johnson?
We're going to find out probably sooner than later. Coming up, final hour, breaking news out of Kansas City and Brock Purdy